A sexual relationship has three ingredients that I have come up with. Spiritual side, praying for God to help you to be the woman that He wants you to be and that your husband needs you to be. You praying that God makes you the man He wants you to be and that you become the man your wife needs you to be. Secondly, there's a second ingredient to our physical relationship, and there is the emotion. There's an emotional side to sex that cannot be ignored. I think that for a long time, and I don't know, maybe women too, but men have gotten the rap, and probably rightfully so, maybe, that for men, it's just an act. But can I say to you, however, that men, and I'm being very, very serious, men have an emotional side. Some hide it really good. But I think that sometimes some of us men get our feelings hurt easier. And so there's an emotional side to your husband when it comes to sex that I'm going to ask you to be very careful with. If your husband seeks to initiate a sexual contact with you, and it's not the time, something's up, you're not ready, whatever, how you communicate that means a lot to him. It can be a flat-out rejection. And emotionally, that hurts. Now, I know that he can hurt you too, but right now we're talking about how you respond to him when he initiates sex. You saying things like, is that all you ever think about? Sometimes, again, sometimes for some men, makes them feel like a pervert. Makes them feel dirty. Am I really that filthy? What is it? Am I too fat? Am I undesirable? Do you not want to be with me? See, men have an emotional side. You have to understand and listen carefully. For not all men, it's just an act. For many men, there's an emotion attached to it. You're his wife. It means something to him if you just cold-heartedly reject him. Now, if he's being insensitive and he's being mean-spirited and he's being demanding, okay, I understand that. But what I'm saying is there's a way for you, I think, to say no in a way that you don't have to hurt him. What about something like, listen, I understand. I do, babe. I understand that, and maybe I'm elaborating. Forgive me. Husband, listen, I understand. You're at that place right now. But would you do me a favor? Would you understand that right now I'm not at that place? I got so many things happening. There's so many things. Now, maybe if we work together and you help me with this, and yeah, maybe we can look at this or whatever, and maybe find a way to say no in such a way that doesn't scar. Because in the same way that you want affection, in the same way that you want affirmation, he wants the same thing. Don't ever discount that. Just like it hurts you if you're ignored by him. Just like it hurts you if he flatly just says no. And how it makes you feel, the same thing. Don't use that as a payback, please. And so there's an emotional side. It's the time in the relationship of a husband and wife when there is a bonding that takes place. There's a connection that happens. Do you know that sex is the only thing, the only ingredient, the only feature that sets everything else apart. Business, you talk to people. Marriage, you talk to people. Business, you pay bills. Marriage, you pay bills. Business, you have fun. Marriage, you have fun. School, everything else you do in business, fun, school, college, you do in marriage. The only thing that's different about marriage is sex. That's the one feature that sets it apart from everything else. So if you don't understand the connection of emotion, then you run the risk of hurting each other. And that's when you go to bed with your backs to one another. And that's when you go to bed. You remember, maybe you didn't do this, maybe you've never seen a child do this, but pretend with me. A 2-year-old little boy doesn't get his way. A 2-year-old little boy that doesn't get his way throws himself on the ground, kicks and screams, and throws a fit. Why? Didn't get his way. Mm-hmm. We're grown-ups. We're adults. We don't do that. No, we have an adult version of that. We do. Let me just pick on the husbands again. When you, the husband, when you look over at your wife and, hey, babe, like I was thinking, get away from me. And you know what you do? Then you go, forget it then. I don't want any anywhere. I don't care. Leave me alone. And here's what you do. You turn your back, and here's what you do. Give her the silent treatment. I ain't going to talk to her. I'm going to make her pay. If she ain't going to give me sex, I ain't going to talk to her. I'll teach her a lesson. She's probably glad you ain't talking to her. That's the grown-up version of throwing. You don't throw yourself on the floor. The grown-up version is silent treatment. The grown-up version is, last night she said no, so the next morning you both get up, you're both in the kitchen, she walks in, she says good morning, and you know what you say? You ain't talking to her. Why? You didn't get what you wanted. Is that a servant? Is that the heart of Jesus? What if Jesus would have said to those 12 disciples, no, you don't deserve it. I'm not going to do that. There's an emotional connection that has to do with holding. And it doesn't have to be, it's part of it, but it doesn't have to be sexual. But in the sexual intercourse, in the sexual relationship, there's a time to hold each other. We're partners. We're in this together. My wife and I, going on 40 years, you know what we say to each other? It started out with just the two of us, and it's going to end up with just the two of us. We're in this together. Kids have come, kids have gone. Grandkids are here, they're leaving. It started out me and Teresa, it's going to end up me and Teresa. So we better like each other in between. And we need to be nice to each other in between. There's got to be holding. There's got to be an emotional bond, not just physical. Sex for a Christian couple is not just two bodies rubbing together to get the desired result. It's a contact. It's a connection. It's a gentle stroking of each other. It's a holding quietly. It's being quiet with one another. It's respecting the other person when the other person says, I don't like that. It's being honorable to that. It's being kind that says, can I tell you that I really enjoy the times that we spend together. I am so blessed that God has brought you into my life. You are such a man to me. You are such a woman to me. That's emotional connection. There's spiritual connection. There's emotional connection. And then, of course, there's the physical connection. Spirit, soul, and body. The physical, we talked about it. Men are different. Men are turned on by visual things. Ladies, have you ever noticed your husband can be in the bedroom, you're in the shower. You come out of the shower, and all you're wearing is a towel on your head. And you walk through the bedroom, and your husband starts hyperventilating. And you're looking at him going, what is wrong with you? He's moved by that. Now, turn the picture around. Ladies, you're in the bedroom. Your husband comes out of the shower with nothing on but a towel on his head. You look at him and you go, would you get dressed, please? It's different. It's different. Guys are visual, and you've heard this expression before. Guys are they're just ready. Just ready. Just ready. They come home from work, dirty, filthy, like if you worked in construction, dirty, filthy, they walk in, they see you naked, I'm ready. You're filthy, dirty, and women, not so much. It's just not like that on an average. But men have been compared to like a microwave, right? Just being, and it's just, and a woman, it's not quite like that, is she? It's somebody compare it in that case, kind of like to a crock pot. It's just like, for a woman, listen, guys, for a woman, in some cases, the physical, it starts in the morning. And it's a buildup that culminates with a sexual event in the bedroom at night. It doesn't happen like it does for you. It just doesn't. And if you're not sensitive to you being a servant, then you take that offensively, like a rejection. But there's just sometimes, tell me this ain't true. Tell me, is this true or not? Has your wife ever looked at you and said to you, can you just hold me? Has she ever said that to you? Has she ever said to you, can you just hold me without touching me there? Do you have to grab me every time you walk by me? Do you know that, walk back? Bless her heart. My wife, bless her heart, man. I love her. I don't know what I did. But I'm walking by at home a while back, and she's doing something, and I did one of those pinch things, as I'm walking by, and she looks at me, and she says, I want to start doing that to you. Every time I walk by, I'm going to pinch you in the butt. You promise? I hate to say it. Start now. Go ahead. It's just different. And listen, every time that you have a physical relationship with your spouse, it's different for a woman than it is for a man. If a woman can enjoy sex without an orgasm, a man, if he doesn't, you might as well just shoot him because he ain't no good. A woman is one that enjoys being with you. A woman is somebody that enjoys lying in bed with you. It's not always about physical sex for her. But when there is a physical relationship, it doesn't always have to be that the room shakes, the roof is going to fall down, you both are sweating profusely because it was just like, kind of thing. It's kind of like this. There's sometimes that you and your spouse get together and have a sexual union that's kind of like, well, it's just kind of like fast food. You know, just, hey, went to Taco Bell. It was good, you know, but hey, got a little snack on our way. There's a time for that. But then every now and then, you go to a semi-formal dinner. It's a little bit more. It's a little bit more than fast food. These are things that I would recommend you plan out. You think it through. You consider it. And then, of course, then there's the 5-course meal. Now we're going on a trip. Now we're going to spend some money. Now you're going to give your wife your credit card. And she's going to go buy a whole new wardrobe. And you're going to buy new suitcases. And you're going to buy new tires for the car because you're going to, there's different levels. It should all be a part. Why? Because you're a servant and you know your spouse. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7, husbands, know your wives with knowledge. What if a fast food, what if that's the most that she has within her life right now, that with the kids and the job and the responsibilities, and you're demanding a 5-course meal? That's not a servant. There's 5 different needs of men and women when it comes to sex. Experts have determined that the number one need of a man, and this is interesting to me, in a sexual union with his wife, the number one need of a man, check this out, is that the husband wants to know that his wife is enjoying it. Do you know that? The number one need of a man, on an average, is not for him to please himself. He wants to know, is this okay for you? He wants to know that she's enjoying it. The number one need of a woman in a sexual union with her husband is affirmation. Tell me I look beautiful. Tell me that you love me just the way I am. The number 2 need of a man is the same as the number 2 need of a woman during a sexual union, and that is the need to connect with each other emotionally, spiritually, and physically. We're on the same page. We're partners. We're together. The number 3 need of a man in a sexual union is that she's interested. She's interested in this relationship. She's not thinking something else. She's not talking about the plumber's coming tomorrow while you're involved in a sexual union. And by the way, you know, a woman can do more than 2 things at one time. While we're doing this, don't forget the toilet's leaking. And so, wait, are you even interested in what we're doing right now? Well, you know, I can do more than 1 thing at a time. Yeah, but this is like a little different, you know? The number 3 need of a woman in a sexual union, this sounds weird, is non-sexual touch. She desires to be touched in a non-sexual way during a sexual union. The caress of a face, the kiss of a neck, whatever it is. The number 4 need of a man in sexual union, you know what he wants to know? Will you ever initiate it? The guy likes that. The guy, he feels like she wants to be with me. She likes me. She finds me attractive. I'm her man. She can't do this with nobody else. She wants to be with, do you know what that does to him? The number 4 need of a woman in the sexual intimacy is spiritual intimacy. The number 5 need of a man is the number 1 need of a woman, affirmation. The number 5 need of a woman in sex is romance. Let me give you 5 other needs that are met and not met. There are unmet needs that your spouse has. Do you know that right now as you sit next to your spouse, there are unmet needs that you're supposed to be meeting? And secondly, there are some needs. You're meeting some needs. You're busy. You're working. Your priorities, and then there are the basic needs that you're meeting. You're providing food, you're providing house, you're providing water, you're providing basic needs, and then you are providing all of their needs. And that's good. But there's one level higher than that. There's one level that you want to be at. You don't want to just provide for all their needs. You want to be able to provide for all their needs and all their desires. Because see, if all you're doing is just meeting their needs, what if they have desires? Have you talked about what's your desire? I know what your need is. Your need is sex. That's the topic right now. But what's your desire? What do you desire to get out of this? Honestly, seriously, like, just between us right here, have you ever looked at each other and said, what do you like? What do you like? What would you like me to do? Am I meeting your needs, or am I also meeting your desires? Within biblical parameters. Again, if your husband ever asks you, if your wife ever asks you to do something that Jesus would never ask you to do, or to do something that is contrary to biblical principles, you have the right, according to the book of Acts chapter 4 and Acts chapter 5, to look at that person and say, whom should we obey? Should we obey God, or should we obey you? I ain't going in that strip joint. I ain't going there. You want me to dress how? I ain't dressing like that. Jesus would not ask me to dress like that. Now again, I'm not telling you what to do within the 4 walls of your home, but it needs to be something that's within biblical guidelines. And it needs to be something that your wife, your husband, has a peace in their heart that God's okay with that. He's okay with that. But when you start feeling that confusion, oh, God, I don't feel that. But you need to talk. You need to bring that out. Let me close our time together with some things that are going to kill the sexual desire in men and women. Men, consider your appearance. When you approach your wife, your appearance. Did you take a bath? Can I be this honest? Do you stink? Can I be that honest? And I hate to say, unless that's what your wife likes. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying, health and hygiene is a good thing. Health and hygiene, again, watch this now. Watch this. What if, I use that example of you work in construction, you come home, you've been sweating all day, and you're the guy, and you come home, and you're like sexually motivated, and your wife says, no, I don't feel comfortable like that. I don't want that. Yeah, but you're supposed to submit, and you're supposed to meet my needs. No, but see, that's not a servant. if you're trying to force your way that says, no, but it don't bother me. Yeah, but it bothers me. Then you're not on the same page. A servant says, oh, wait, the way that I smell, the way I look, the way I'm talking bothers you? Yes, it does. Well, then because I want to be a servant that pleases, I'm going to do what is right for you because God has given me to you. Another sex killer is the lack of attention. Ignoring. Ignore your wife all day and then lay in bed with her and ask her for intimacy? Not so much. Aggressiveness. Can I say, be aware. When you walk into the house, men, would you do me a favor? Would you be aware? Look around. Look around your house. Because chances are, because we live in a society where today most women have to work outside the home, right? So chances are that your wife already worked 4, 6, 8 hours, whatever. So I'm asking you to do this, gentlemen. When you walk in the home, look around, scan, take note. What does the house look like? Does it need to be picked up? Are the kids running, creating havoc everywhere? Is there things thrown all over the place? Then do this. Jump in and help. Because you're partners. That's your house. Those are probably a lot of your clothes on the floor. Show your wife that you respect her by not ignoring work that needs to be done. Honor her. She will take note of that when you do it with the right motive, the right heart. Babe, I got this. You're over there doing that. Don't worry about it. Let me take care of this. That's honor. That's servanthood. Ladies, sex killers. How many times have you said, do you know how tired I am? Now that could be true. Now I asked you to turn to the book of James, but before we go to James, I want you to turn to 1 Corinthians chapter 7, and this is very, very, very important because the Bible here is very specific about this, ladies. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Ladies, have you ever said, I got to take care of the kids. I got to take care of the kids. I got to take care of you. Do you know how tired I am? Have you ever said, do you know how tired I am? Do you know how worried I am about the money? You want to do that, and I'm so consumed with money? Have you ever said this? I'm not in the mood. I want you to read 1 Corinthians chapter 7 with me. Verse 2. Nevertheless, because of sexual immorality, let each man have, and this word have, if you'd look this up, it means sexually. Let each man have his own wife, and let each woman have, that means a conjugal duty, have her own husband. Let the husband, watch now, render to his wife the affection that's due, and likewise also the wife to her husband. Verses 2 and 3, what does it say? Honor your husband, honor your wife physically. Says nothing about being tired, and I don't know how to put this any nicer than what I'm going to, and I'm going to clarify this, but ladies, I don't know how to put it, and I talked to my wife about this because I wanted to make sure. I don't know how to put it any nicer than what I'm going to put it. Unless he's asking you to do something that's non-biblical, you don't have a reason to deny him. You don't. Look with me in verse 4. This is the Bible, ladies. This ain't me, this is the Bible. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. And likewise, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. Watch now. Do not deprive one another except with consent for a time, that you may give yourselves to fasting and prayer and come together again, so that Satan does not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. I'm too tired. No excuse. I'm worried about the money. No excuse. I'm not in the mood. Ladies, let me ask you a question. The Bible says in the book of Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25, husbands, love your wife just as Jesus loved the church and gave himself up for her. What if your husband said to you, I know I'm supposed to love you sacrificially. I ain't in the mood. I'm just not in the mood. Do you want your husband to obey the scriptures? Do you want him to love you sacrificially? Of course you do. There's no excuse for disobedience. Now here's what I said I was going to clarify. Husbands, if you have to pull this verse out and use it as a means by which to club her over the head with it, then you ain't living your life the way you should. Because I don't have to beg my wife. I don't have to force my wife. I don't have to manipulate my wife. I don't have to bring out Bible verses. Teresa, right here, you're supposed to obey, obey. Not since last week. Are you back there, babe? No, man. Do you understand? I mean, if you're forcing her, if you're pushing, if you're ignoring her, if you're not serving her, if you're not prioritizing her, do you think that it's easy for her to just go, okay, I'm not in the mood. Come on, go ahead, hurry up, because I got to cook dinner. What is that? No, man. It's two people serving each other. It's two people prioritizing each other. Let me leave you with this. Guys, and this is quick. 10 practical ways to love and serve your wife. Quick ways. Before you touch her body, touch her mind and heart. Number 2, you know how you always hear, don't sweat the small stuff? No, husbands, sweat the small stuff. Come home and say, I really love the way you cut your hair. That is, if she did cut her hair. Make sure that she go, what? I didn't cut my hair. Oh, you shaved your mustache. I don't know, one of those. No, I'm just kidding. Number 3, encourage her, gentlemen, in areas where she thinks she's failing. Be her cheerleader. Number 4, study her. Number 5, date her. Number 5, write words to her, send her cards, text message her, email her, ask her specific questions. Listen to this. Ask her specific questions. Ask her this. What can I do, babe, to make you feel loved and appreciated by me? It's going to be your homework. What can I do to make you feel loved and appreciated by me? What can I do to make you feel like I enjoy being with you more than anybody else on the face of this earth? What can I do to help relieve the stress of your life responsibilities? How can I best serve you in dealing with the kids? What can I do to heighten your desire for physical intimacy? Number 8, be thoughtful. Do the things that she knows require some time and effort from you. Number 9, be patient. She may not respond like you hope, Make sure that you're not loving your wife expecting something in return. And lastly, pray for her. That might be the most significant way your wife will feel loved by you. Ladies, 10 quick ways in how you can show you love him. Listen to this, ladies. Thank him for taking care of you in all of the ways that he does, spiritually, financially, mentally, the friendship. Number 2, watch this now. Ladies, write a brief love note and stick it on his pillow or where he will find it easily. Do that tonight. Ladies, this is serious. Number 3, ladies, pick a 24-hour period and try not to complain about anything. That's a way to show him that you love him, man. Number 4, date night at home after you put the kids to bed early. Watch this. Number 5, give him a flower. As girls, we often get the flowers. Give him a turn. Number 6, give him a long foot rub after you give him the flower. Watch this now. Number 7, wake him up right before the alarm goes off with kisses. You getting some ideas, man. Watch this. Think of 3 reasons that you're proud of him and tell him. Comma, even if you have to lie. No, it doesn't say that. No, but listen to this. All right. Compliment his body in some way. I like that, in some way. And lastly, look at your husband and say, how can I pray for you? That's special. One of the most personal and heartfelt things for me is when my wife and I hold hands and I hear her praying for me. And she says, Lord, I pray that you would fill my husband with your spirit. I pray, Lord, that you would bless him. Do you know what that does to me? You need to be praying together. The enemy is going to use your sexual relationship through selfishness to bring a wedge between you so that you will not have the life that God has designed.